Hi everyone, welcome back to the new platform of online teaching. Hope you are enjoying it. Okay, so last session we have been dealing with the introductory thing, that is atomic mass, molecular mass, etc. And today also the same thing, that is we have studied in 9th standard, that is a very important concept, that is mole concept. Hope you all know the mole concept, but still I want to have a recap on that because it is very, very important for your 12th also. So you have to have a concept of the mole. Okay. Now what is a mole? You studied in 9th standard, right? What is a mole? Or how you represent a mole? Or what is the definition of a mole? If I ask you what is a mole, you will say mole is simply an Avogadro number of particles, isn't it? Or mole is something we can define, it is a quantity which you can define the amount of substance present, isn't it? Or you will say mole is applicable only for a microscopic substances and it is not useful for a macroscopic particles, because macroscopic means large particles. So we are dealing with the mole concept in atoms and molecules, isn't it? So they are all very small particles, but these small particles contains large number of, small volume. Sorry, these atoms and molecules are small in volume, but it contains huge number of particles. So in order to deal with this large number of particles, this mole concept came into picture. Okay, so if I say in a one word, what is one mole? We can say it is the number of particles. We can define the mole as the number of particles. It's a quantity. Okay, it's a quantity which represents the amount of substance. Like if you say 1 dozen, what it represents? It represents 12 in number. If you go to a market and say, I need 1 dozen of oranges, how many oranges they will give? 12 oranges. Or if somebody else say, if we need 1 dozen of watermelon, they will give exactly the 12 in number. But that doesn't mean that the mass of the 12 oranges are similar to the mass of the 12 watermelons, isn't it? They are completely different. But the number, isn't it? That is, we are exactly stressing it. The number, that is 12 in number. That's a quantity. 1 dozen means what? 1 dozen means 12 in number, isn't it? So 1 gross is 144 in number. Okay, so like that it is a number, and what is that number? It is nothing but the Avogadro number. So you got it? So I can simply write as 1 mole. Okay, 1 mole is equal to, okay, 1 mole is equal to Avogadro number of particles. 1 mole is equal to Avogadro number of particles, correct? And now what is this Avogadro number, you know? What is it? Tell me what that is. 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Correct? Isn't it? 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. This is Avogadro number. Correct? Okay. Now, you also studied the definition of a mole in 9th standard. What is the definition? We represent the mole in terms of carbon-12 isotope, or we define the mole in terms of carbon-12 isotope. And what was the definition? It is the number of particles which is present exactly in one atom of a carbon-12 isotope. Isn't it? It is the number of particles. Now what do you mean by that particles? That particles can be, what is it? The particles can be, okay, the particles can be 3 types. One is, it may an element, okay, it must be an element, or it must be a compound, or it must be an ion, isn't it? So, the number of particles, the amount of particles present in what? Exactly one atom of a carbon-12 isotope. So, that is called as a mole. It is nothing but a quantity, or it is nothing but particles. Now what is that particle? It is Avogadro number of particles. Who is Avogadro, you know, isn't it? That is Emilio Avogadro declared this as Avogadro number. Okay, so you can simply say 1 mole is equal to Avogadro number of particles. Correct? Now, if I talk about particles, I said it can be of an element. Now, what do you mean by an element? Element means atoms. You can represent the element as what? Atoms, isn't it? Atoms. Now, compound means what? Compound means molecules. Correct? Compound means molecules. And ion means just ion. Correct? Okay, so please listen carefully. If somebody doesn't know the concept of mole, today you can reach out to it. Correct? Okay. Now, if I say 1 mole of sodium, simply, okay, 1 mole of sodium. What does that mean? What does that mean? It's a sodium atom, right? Sodium atom. So, you can say it is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 particles of what? Particles of sodium atom. Isn't it? Instead of this, I can write Na. Just to make you the concept clear. That's it. Okay. So, 1 mole of sodium element or sodium atom is equal to, it contains how many particles? 6.022 10 raised to 23 particle of sodium atom. Correct? Now, if I say 1 mole of, this is element. Now, coming to compound, 1 mole of water. This is a molecule, right? 1 mole of water is equal to what? Again, the same quantity. That is Na particles of, the difference is water molecule. Only difference is you will write it as molecule. If it is a molecule, that many number of, the Avogadro number of particles of molecule. If it is an atom, that much, the Avogadro number of particles of atom. Correct? Or if it is an ion, ion means, for example, NaCl, it contains plus and minus ion. Correct? Ion. So, it must be is equal to Na, the Avogadro number of what? NaCl, Na plus ion or Cl minus ions. That's it. So, atoms, molecules as well as ions. Clear? Okay. So, this is about the, you already studied these things. Okay. Now, we will go into little more elaborate or detailed on this mole concept. Okay. This much is clear? Okay. Now, we will say the particles, or the mole can be represented by what? 3 ways. Okay, you have studied in 2 ways in the small classes or in 9th standard. Today, we can represent the mole in 3 cases. One is, as you know, that is particle. Correct? Mole can be represented as particle. Okay, what is the value of this? You know, it is Na particle. That is Avogadro number of particles. Correct? Okay, that is fixed. Okay, like 1 dozen equals 12 number. This is also a fixed number, that is Avogadro particles. Avogadro number of particles. Correct? Now, we can represent also the mole in mass. We can also represent the mole in mass. That is called as molar mass. What is it? Molar mass. Okay. The mole can be represented in mass. Okay. Again, you can divide this into 3 ways. We have studied that. What is it? One is gram atomic mass, GAM. What is it? If you are representing particles can be of 3 types. What are they? Atoms, molecules and ions. Okay. If you are taking an atom, atomic mass. So, atomic mass is what? For example, carbon atomic mass is 12U. Now, how will you represent the gram atomic mass? Atomic mass is 12U. Atomic mass is 12U. Now, how will you represent the gram atomic mass? That is 12 gram. The U is, the unified mass is replaced by gram. Then you call it as gram atomic mass. Or simply you say it as gram atom. Listen. If in a numerical, if there is gram atom, if you are given gram atom, that represents the mole. Keep in mind, gram atom represents mole or gram atomic mass. That is atomic mass expressed in gram. That is 12U. The U is replaced by what? G. So that is gram atomic mass or simply gram atom. Clear? Now coming to molecule. This is atom. Now gram molecular mass. What is gram molecular mass? The molecular mass expressed in grams. Isn't it? That is why you call it as molar mass. Here you can say it as gram molecule. Correct? Gram molecule. That is molecular mass expressed in grams. Correct? Okay. Now the last is what? Gram ion. Isn't it? Gram atomic mass, gram molecular mass and gram ionic mass. So these are the three types of this molar mass connecting to molar mass. Ions means what? Ions means what? Gram ion. Gram ion. Ion, how will you calculate the mass of formula mass of ion? Ion. If for ions, for example, see NaCl, you have Na plus and Cl minus. In ionic compounds, another name for saying the molecular mass is formula mass. That is, it depends upon the formulae. Now, how will you calculate the mass of Na plus and Cl minus? Same as molecular mass. That is 23 plus 35.5. That's it. That much U. So, same as that. Just for ionic, you say it as formula mass. Only the name is different. Formula mass. The other is molecular mass. Last session we have studied molecular mass. We have done the homework, I think, right? Then, so this is about the mole, which is a representation of a mass. That is molar mass. These two you have studied in earlier classes. But now what I am going to say is, this mole can be also represented in terms of volume. See, the mole can be also represented in terms of volume. And then we can say it as molar volume. The same as molar mass. When the mole can be represented by volume, you can say that volume to be molar volume. And that is also a fixed quantity. The volume which is taken at NTP or STP. What is NTP or STP? Standard temperature and pressure condition. Standard. Standard means the pressure is 1 bar. The temperature is what? The temperature is at normal temperature and pressure. The temperature is 0 degrees Celsius or 273 Kelvin. The pressure is 1 bar. So at that point of time, what is the volume? That is fixed. That is for 1 mole, the volume is 22.4 liter or 22,400 ml. Always we just represent it in liter. Now whatever the numerical comes, we can change liter or milliliter, whatever. Okay. So this is the representation of mole in 3 ways. That is particle, that is fixed. How much? 6.022 into 10 raised to 23. And what is that? That is Avogadro number. Clear? Then you can represent the mole in mass, which is called as molar mass, which can be again divided into 3. That is particles like atoms, which you call it as gram atomic mass. GAM. That is gram atom. Okay. Now gram molecular mass, that is molecule. And gram ionic mass, that is ion. Okay. So please remember, if in numericals gram atom is there, just you note it as you are getting mole there. Okay. So this is the representation of this mole. Okay, now it's clear. Okay, now volume is clear. Volume is nothing but just as you have the particles as 6.022 in 10 raised to 23, you have the molar volume as what? 22.4 liter. That's all. Or you can represent what? 1 mole will be equivalent to 22.4 liter of volume at STP. That's all. Okay, we will do some problems. Then you will get a hang of it. Correct? Okay. Now this is about. Now we will see the comparison. Okay. Now we will see how you compare all these 3. We can say, see, I can say 1 mole of carbon. Again and again, why I am repeating is to make the concept clear. Because, so 1 mole of carbon, this is carbon atom, right? So that is equal to, this is mole. Okay, now you represent it in mass. How you represent it in mass? 12 gram of carbon, correct? 12 gram of carbon. If you want to say atom, okay, carbon atom. Okay, now coming to particle. How can you compare it with particle? That is again equal to, tell me, what is the number of particle? Na. That is 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 particle, correct? Again you compare it with volume. Volume, what is it? 1 mole of carbon atom, 12 gram of carbon atom, 6.022 particle of carbon atom, and also 22.4 liter of carbon atom. So by 3 means you can compare or you can represent the mole. Now you got a feel of what is mole, or how can you relate the mole into various things? Okay, by this grams, that is mass, particle and volume. That is molar mass, then particle and molar volume. So is it clear? This is a case of atom. Now if we come to molecule, same. How it is? This is 16 plus 2, 18. 18 gram of what? Water molecule, correct? Is equal to 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 particles of water molecule. Am I right? Or that is again equal to 22.4 liter of water molecule. Correct? So it is like this. So is it clear? I hope you understood what is the mole concept. We will do some numericals, then you will be able to follow that. And also you can have a mole to mole relationship. If you are given a balanced chemical equation, you can have a mole to mole relation. You can compare mole with mole, then mole with particle, and mole with volume. We will do some numericals and I will send it to you, or we will do in one class, okay, to get a hang of it. Okay. Now coming back again to your 9th standard, you have studied some formula for mole concept, right? Are you remembering that? The first equation or the first formula was N. What is N? Just to have a recap of it, that's why I am telling you. That is number of moles. Okay, number of moles. Now how will you calculate number of moles? Tell me, how will you calculate number of moles? Number of moles is mass by molar mass. This was the first equation you have studied. Mass by molar mass. Correct? Now one more equation you have studied. N, again the number of mole is equal to, what is it? The number of particles. Now if you want to calculate the particles, if you find mole and the Avogadro number is a constant, so you cross multiply, you will get the number of particles. So this is the second equation you have studied for calculating the number of moles. These two you have studied in earlier classes. But now we have talk about the molar volume also, isn't it? Molar volume. So again there is an expression for molar volume, that is equal to, N is equal to volume of that liquid or whatever it may be in by 22.4 liter. So this is the new or the third equation you have to study. This is the second one and this is the first one. Clear? These two you have studied earlier. This is, today we have studied the molar volume. So instead of this number of particles, this is a volume of gas or particle. Then by dividing it with, instead of Avogadro number, 22.4 liter. Correct? So this much is about the mole concept, and I hope you have got that concept correctly. Okay, is it okay? Now if I say what is the molar mass of water? The unit you say is mole. Mole. For mole, the unit is mole. Okay. Now if you say what is the molar mass of water, then we will say 18 gram per mole. See? Gram per mole. Isn't it? That is weight by molar mass. That is gram per mole. So that is how you write the unit. Okay. So hope you understood. Just go through the textbook. Just do some, actually what I want to do is, you should take the 9th standard book, and there are so many problems or exercise in that book. First you go through it and you solve that numericals, and then come back to this textbook. There is 11th standard textbook. There also in exercise you have this problem, you can do it. Okay, but I prefer you to do first the 9th standard once again, so that you will have a better idea of how to do it. The conversions, to do it. Okay. The atoms, when atoms comes, what to take, when molecule comes, what to take, when ion comes, what to take. So like that. Okay. One problem is there, like aluminium in the textbook. So just do that. Okay. Then come back to the 11th standard. Right? Okay. Now we will see the next portion. So is it clear this much, the mole concept? I want everybody to be clear with the mole concept because we are going to the 12th standard also. It is very, very important. Okay. 12th standard, whoever takes more in chemistry like BSc or MSc or something, it is very, very important because this is the concept of this. Okay. So that's it. Now you come back to, now as far as we are concerned with this mole concept, and another thing I want to tell is about the density. Okay. Since this is an introductory part, basic concept of chemistry, you have to know it. Even though this is not in the textbook, you know what is density. What is density? Density is equal to mass by volume. In numericals, all these are asked. Okay. But now, we will divide this density into two. One is absolute density, in concern with mole, right? Absolute density and relative density. What is it? Absolute density and relative density. Now what is absolute density? You know, mass by volume, or you can write molar mass by molar volume. Correct? Molar mass by molar volume. Correct? Now what is relative density? Relative density is also, what is relative density is what? The density of a substance. This also you have studied in physics. Density of substance in Archimedes principle. Okay. Density of substance divided by, what is it? Density of water. Isn't it? Water at 1 gram per cc or 4 degrees Celsius. So in comparison with water density, you are calculating the density of a substance. That is called as what? Relative density. Relative density, or we call it as what? Specific gravity. We call it as specific gravity. Okay, it is specific. Okay, that is when compared with water. So is it clear? It's very simple. Absolute means mass by volume. Relative means density of substance by density of water at 1 gram per cc, that we know, or 4 degrees Celsius. Correct? Okay. Clear? Okay. Now, one more formula you have to take into account is, while doing the numericals, you don't go into details. Okay. You don't want to go into details. As of now, you just see, that is, vapor density. This is one formula you have to get along. Okay. So vapor density equals, okay, molar mass. Now you know what is molar mass. What is the molar mass of water? You will say 18 gram per mole, isn't it? Don't forget now. Okay. So molar mass by 2. You have to study this equation. This is not in a textbook, but it will be useful for this numericals. Now what is vapor density? This is used for gases. The absolute density and relative density, that is density of substances. But if gas is taken into consideration, this is nothing but the relative density. The relative density of a gas, what is vapor pressure? Vapor pressure means it is the relative density of a relative density, that is any gas by the density of hydrogen. That is relative to hydrogen, you are getting the density of gas. Okay, so don't go into details, but just you study what? This is the vapor density. Vapor density is also called as specific gravity. I already told you, because it is a relative density. Okay, vapor density means relative density. To whom you are relating? With hydrogen. Okay, just go, don't remember all this. Just remember this vapor density is equal to molar mass by 2. Or how will you calculate molar mass? Molar mass is equal to 2 into vapor density, not Vp. Vp is vapor pressure, vapor density. Okay, Vp is vapor pressure. That you will study next year. The pressure exerted by the air on any surface, a liquid surface, is called as vapor pressure. Just leave it. So this is vapor density. Okay, I'm sorry, vapor, not vapor pressure. I said it is vapor density, right? Okay. So vapor density is equal to molar mass by 2, or molar mass is equal to vapor density. Vapor density into 2. So is it clear? Just remind this equation. Okay, for this formula. Now one more formula, if atomic masses are considered, just one more formula you have to remember in the competitive exams or something. Just remember that the atomic mass into specific heat is equal to 6.4. Just remember that also. Just for information I am telling you, atomic mass into specific heat is equal to 6.4. Just study all this also, because this is also important. It is called as Coulomb-Pettit law. Coulomb-Pettit law. Because since we are studying the atomic mass, just you study this also, that is atomic mass into specific heat is equal to a constant value, that is 6.4. Okay, just write it down, that's all. If numerical comes, you can go through it. Okay, so what is specific heat, you know. What is specific heat? You have studied. All this you have studied, but just to recap of it. Specific heat means what? The amount of heat energy required to raise the temperature of 1 unit mass of a substance by 1 degree. Isn't it? 1 unit mass, how much amount of energy is required to raise the temperature by 1 degree? That is called as specific heat. Correct? So that is all about this small concept and the atomic mass. Hope you got that hang of this. Read the textbook thoroughly. Okay. Now we will go to the, is it clear? Now we will go to the second topic. Today's second topic is how to calculate the percentage composition. It's very easy. What is it? How to calculate the percentage composition. Okay. If you are given, so how to calculate the percentage composition. Okay. Percentage composition. How to calculate? For example, if you are given water, a molecule or a compound, how will you calculate the percentage of hydrogen and oxygen with respect to this compound? That is what you are taking. Just for numericals. Okay. Now, if you want to calculate what? Calculate the percentage composition, the percentage of hydrogen in this compound and oxygen in this compound. It is, now first is percentage of hydrogen is, how will you calculate? Percentage of hydrogen is equal to, this is mass percentage. Okay, how to calculate the, not percentage, how to calculate the mass percentage composition. I'm sorry, how to calculate the mass, how much mass is there in each compound. Okay, so how will you calculate the mass percentage composition? So, in case of water, the mass percentage of any element is equal to mass of that element in the compound. See, mass of that element in the compound. Okay, the mass of that element in the compound divided by the molar mass of the compound. See, this is how you calculate molar mass of the compound. So, since it is a percentage, you have to multiply with 100. Listen once more. If you want to find out the mass percentage, composition of mass percentage, simply mass percentage, how will you calculate? The mass percentage of an element is equal to mass of that element. For example, if you want to calculate the mass percentage of hydrogen element in this water molecule, the mass percentage of hydrogen is equal to mass of that element in the compound. In this water molecule, how many hydrogens are there? 2. So 2 into mass of the hydrogen, correct, divided by the molar mass of the compound. That is, what is the molar mass? 18 gram, the total molar mass, correct? So for water, I will write, what is the mass percentage? Here I will write, the mass percentage of what? Hydrogen is equal to, tell me, the mass of that element of the in the compound. How many hydrogen atoms are there? 2. So 2 into, what is the mass of hydrogen atom? You normally take it as 1, but in 11th standard onwards, you make it precise in the mass of the atom. So it is 1.008 you will put. Instead of 1, you have to put 1.008. If you ask me whether putting 1 is okay, it's okay, but to be more precise, now they are using 11th standard onwards. They are using the precise value, that is the correct value, that is 1.008. Okay, that's itself is 1, right? Not means it's 1. So 2 into 1.008 divided by what is the molar mass of the compound? 18 gram. See? Now if you calculate it, you will get that what? Into 100. So you will get the percentage. Correct? Okay. So now same way, how will you calculate the mass percentage of oxygen? Mass percentage of oxygen is equal to, tell me how many oxygen are there, atoms are there? 1. So it is 1 into 16 gram. Okay, 1 into 16 gram divided by, what is the molar mass of the compound? That is again 18 gram, water, right? 18 gram into 100. So by this you can calculate the mass percentage. Okay, it is very simple, mass percentage. Okay, so you can calculate the mass percentage of hydrogen and oxygen in water molecule. Okay, I'll give you a homework. So is it clear? Okay, so I'll give you a homework. Just write it down. Calculate the mass percentage of the elements. Calculate the mass percentage of the elements in CH3OH. Okay. Calculate the mass percentage of elements, all the elements like carbon, hydrogen and oxygen in the compound CH3OH. Okay. Just have a do it as homework. Okay. So that's all about the mass percentage. Okay. Now we will have a percentage composition. Now we will have again, this is a simple topic to calculate the mass percentage. That is, how will you calculate mass percentage? Mass percentage of any element is what? The mass percentage of any element is the mass of the element in that compound divided by the molar mass of the compound into 100. Then you will get the percentage. Okay. Now we will go to a very important topic, that is empirical formula and molecular formula. This much is clear. Okay. Now we will come to how you will calculate empirical formula as well as molecular formula. Molecular formula means you know. What is the molecular formula of sulfuric acid H2SO4? What is the molecular formula of hydrochloric acid HCl? Isn't it? So you know what is the molecular formula. So how you will calculate molecular formula if you have empirical formula? Okay. So first you have to know what is empirical formula. Okay. Now what is empirical formula? You can define the empirical formula as it is the simplest ratio. Listen, it is the simplest ratio of various elements in a compound. What is it? It is the simplest ratio of various elements in a given compound or a given compound. Yes. Okay. What do you mean by that? The simplest ratio of various elements or atoms present in a compound or a molecule. Listen, if I say C6H6 is, you know, is benzene. So it is a molecular formula. You all know C6H6 is benzene. That is a molecular formula. Now, if I write the empirical formula of benzene, it should be written as CH. CH. Correct? That is what? This is the simplest ratio. The simplest ratio of the various atoms, that is carbon and hydrogen, in a given molecule or a given compound. Again, one more example, if I say C2H2. See, if I say C2H2, I can write the empirical formula as again CH. Correct. Again CH. You got it? So this is the simplest ratio which I can represent the acetylene C2H2. But again, if I want to have a benzene also the same formula. So empirical formulas can be same, but molecular formula cannot be the same, isn't it? Okay. Now one more example, if it is CH3COOH. What is it? acetic acid, isn't it? Now, what is the empirical formula of this? You have C2H4O2, correct? This is a molecular formula because 2 carbon, 2 oxygen and 4 hydrogen. So, this is a molecular formula. If you want to have an empirical formula, the simplest ratio is, listen, the simplest ratio I can write as CH2O. Are you getting it? The simplest ratio is CH2O. Correct? Isn't it? Now, again an aldehyde, HCHO. That is formaldehyde or methanol you have studied. This also I can write CH2O. See? What does this mean? This means that the empirical formula will give you only a preliminary information about this compound. It does not give any chemical reactions or chemical informations regarding the molecule. It just gives a ratio or how many, the simplest ratio of these elements present in a given molecule. That's all. It doesn't give any other information other than this ratio of the elements present in a molecule. It does not give any other information regarding the physical property or the chemical property or whatever it may be. It does not give any additional information rather than only it gives a simplest ratio of what? Of various atoms or elements present in a molecule. Because you know, benzene has also got the empirical formula CH, correct? Now, this acetylene has also got the empirical formula CH. So, can we say acetylene is same as benzene? No. So, that is the difference. So, now you got it, right? The same way, acetic acid, the empirical formula is CH2O. Isn't it? Formaldehyde, the molecular formula as well as the empirical formula is same. So, can we say that these two are same compound? One is an acid, other is an aldehyde. So, it's entirely different. So, what I want to mean to say is, this empirical formula only represents or give you just an information about the ratio, that to the simplest ratio of the various elements present in a molecule. Is it clear? Now, what about the molecular formula? What is molecular formula? Molecular formula means what? The actual representation of a molecule, correct? From a molecular formula only we know how many atoms and is present in that molecule, isn't it? So, in the case of benzene, the molecular formula is C6H6. That means, in actual benzene molecule, 6 carbon atoms and 6 hydrogen atoms. So, that is the molecular formula. But see the empirical formula, it gives only a simple ratio of the elements. Got it? Okay. Now, what about acetylene? The actual molecular formula is 2 carbon atoms and 2 hydrogen atoms. But the empirical formula is CH. So, you can say the empirical formulas can be same, but the molecular formulas cannot be the same. It's true, isn't it? It's logic. Okay. Yes. So, that is just a simple introduction for the empirical formula. Now, what you have in your textbook or what you have in your syllabus is to find the empirical formula. If you are given the mass percentage of a compound, listen, if you are given a mass percentage of a compound, how you will calculate the empirical formula? Okay, how to calculate the empirical formula? Okay, now there are 3 or 4 steps for it. We will see the steps today and we will do a problem tomorrow. Okay. In the next session, we will see a problem. So, today we will see what are the steps in order to find out the empirical formula. Okay, listen carefully. Step number 1 is, I told you, you have given mass percentage, isn't it? Mass percentage. That means, how many percentage, for example, if you are given for a compound like CH2O, the carbon is 12%, the hydrogen is 30%, like that. If you are given the mass percentage, first you convert the mass percentage into grams. So, convert the mass percentage into grams. Which means what? You have 12% of carbon. Say, 12% of carbon. How will you convert this? If you say 100%, it means 100. So if you put this percentage as gram, in 100 gram, how many grams of carbon? 12% means 12 grams. That's it. Simple. Okay. So that is the first conversion, that is conversion of the mass percentage into grams. Clear? Okay. Now the second conversion is very, very important. Now first you convert between the mass percent into gram. So you got the gram. Second is then convert the gram into moles. Convert the grams into moles. How will you convert into moles? You know N is equal to that is equal to weight by what? Atomic weight. You are taking the elements, right? Weight by atomic weight. Weight you are given. For example, in the case we took carbon, that is 12. Simply you say, for example, 12 by the atomic weight is 16. So second is convert it into moles. So you will get the result of this by calculation. You will get like point something, say for example 0.33 or something like that. Now what is the third step? Third step is, see, you have to take or you have to make a simple ratio. You have to take a simple ratio. That we will do when you do the numericals. You will have an idea of that. Okay. Now the fourth is you write the empirical formula. What ratio you get in this, you will just see that and write the elements there. So that is the empirical formula. Got it? So first convert the mass percentage into grams. Then you convert this into moles. Then you make it a simple ratio. How will you make it a simple ratio? You get three results, like if you get 1.33, for example, say 1.33, then 6.22, and again 1.33. How will you make a simple ratio? By dividing with the least number. And which is the least number here? 1.33. So 1.33 by 1.33, then 6.22 by 1.33, again 1.33 by 1.33. Correct? So you will get the ratio as 1. Then say, simply I am saying 1, then it is 2 and 1. Then what will be the ratio? C1 if, then H2 and O1. So we will see in the next class how to do the numerical for an empirical formula. Okay, so that's all for today session. We will have the next section. We will have numericals, how to calculate the empirical formula. So go through the lesson. If any problem, just contact me. Thank you.